All right, it is time for the postseason here in the National Football League. It is the wild card round this week. Obviously, we've got 14 teams remaining, with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Detroit Lions getting the first round bye, obviously automatically advancing to the divisional playoffs. And obviously, the AFC and NFC, respectively, both run through Arrowhead and Ford Field. But for now, we've got the wild card round this weekend. Of course, we've got 12 teams playing this week, and we're going to go through every single matchup, predicting all these winners and building, obviously, the divisional round of the playoffs next week. And folks, before we get into the predictions, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more weekly NFL predictions here on the channel. We've been doing this weekly every single week since week number 1 of the regular season, so make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and leave a like to continue joining us here for these NFL predictions every single week. So also, we do daily NBA predictions along with daily college basketball best bets. Those are posted on the channel again every single day, every single morning, so go make sure to check out the channel for those videos. Also, we post weekly UFC predictions. This week's UFC card features Mackenzie Dern and Amanda Ribas in the UFC strawweight division, but make sure to check that video out. It is linked in the description down below. Big card next week with Islam Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan, main eventing from Inglewood, California in the Intuit Dome, so make sure to check out that video next week as well. Also, we have weekly college football predictions. Obviously, the Orange Bowl is happening right now, but we still got our prediction for the Cotton Bowl tomorrow between Texas and Ohio State, so make sure to check that video out. Again, link is in the description down below. Okay, on to the first of our 6 postseason games this week. We start things off in Houston, Texas. We've got the Houston Texans hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm going to outright say it. I think the Texans are the worst team in the playoffs. I think they are. It's either them or Pittsburgh. Both of them just suck. I'm going to be honest with you. The AFC feels so top-heavy, it's crazy. Realistically, guys, there are 3 teams that can win the AFC. I love the fight the Chargers are putting up. I think they are going next week. I think they're going to give one of these top seeds trouble on the road next week, because I think they're beating the Texans. But realistically, guys, there are 3 teams that can win in the AFC. And without spoiling, one of them is the Kansas City Chiefs, and you can probably predict who the other 2 are. Okay? But the Texans, I'm sorry, just aren't that good. And again, it's with injuries, sure. No Tank Dell, no Stephon Diggs. This team is ice cold going into the postseason. Very similar to Pittsburgh. The Steelers are ice cold as well, right? Houston lost back-to-back games against postseason teams, against the Chiefs and against the Ravens. They cannot compete against the best teams in the NFL. I'm not saying the Chargers are the absolute best, but they're pretty damn good. Justin Herbert, I think, is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I'm not going to go through my top 5 quarterback rankings again, because apparently, a lot of you were not in agreement with them last week. It's fine. It's fine. Jared Goff's top 5. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. You can fill in the last 3. I think it's pretty obvious, but I think Jared Goff's top 5. I think he's going to prove it this postseason. Just saying. I love Baker Mayfield, but I think Baker Mayfield's slightly out of the top 5. I'd put him at 6 or 7. Actually, after Sam Darnold's performance last week, Baker's 6. You see the balls Baker was throwing last week against the Saints? My goodness. The touchdown to McMillan? Oh my goodness. Baker's that good. Anyways, getting the Chargers here over the Texans. The defense out of Los Angeles, seriously, I don't know if the Texans score more than 10 points. I'm serious. And guys, has there ever been a more classic tradition than the Houston Texans playing the first game of the postseason? I think this is on ESPN. It's always on ESPN. Maybe a different station got this. It's on CBS now. Wow. But it's not going to be the featured CBS game, because Romo is definitely doing the Sunday game with the Bills. So this is just the secondary CBS game. It's on Paramount Plus as well. Nobody cares. How is it $68 to get in the building for this? What? I mean, I guess it's $50 for the Rams game. Anyways, I'm not going to LA for that. We'll talk about if that game actually is being played in LA. Regardless, give me the Chargers. Guys, the Chargers defense will shut down the Texans. I don't know if the Texans are effectively able to score in this football game. Legitimately, I don't know if they will be able to score. Herbert, again, for the lack of weapons that he has been playing phenomenal football this season. Ladd McConkey is an amazing rookie receiver. You get, again, Quentin Johnston, Will Dissly, Stone Smart. It's not the best receiving core, obviously. J.K. Dobbins is back. That's great. But Herbert's making the most of it. And again, you have to give a lot of credit to Harbaugh as well. First year at the Chargers, immediately gets this team in the postseason. And Justin Herbert, again, looks like an elite quarterback again. And he's always been that. And again, I think if the Chargers sucked this year and they were not a postseason team, I think the same excuse would be made. Oh, Herbert just doesn't have weapons. Well, damn, he still doesn't have weapons. And look, they went 11-6 this season, and I think they're going to win on the road in the postseason. Again, I do not trust the Texans to win with these injuries and the way that they've been playing recently. Again, when they played playoff teams, they put up 2 points, and that was a safety against the Ravens on Christmas. They got decimated by a lowly Kansas City Chiefs team who looks like crap against everyone, and the Chiefs, actually, they didn't get dominated. No, they really didn't, but they lost by 8. I guess. Why do I not remember this game? Oh, because this was during the bowl games. I mean, no, they lost by 8 to the Chiefs. They were expected to they were +1. No, it was a game that they were trailing the entire game. That was a Tank Dell injury game. Okay, regardless, guys, they look so bad in the Ravens game, we can't trust them. The Texans have been so bad down the stretch. They lost that game at home. I get it. The Ravens are the Ravens, but still, the Chargers should be able to go into Houston, and they should be able to win this football game. The injuries are adding up for the Texans. Again, I'm not going to say like some sports talk show hosts are saying, oh, it's a bye week for the Chargers. It's not, but it's a fairly easy game, and I think the Chargers win, and I think they advance with a road victory against the Houston Texans, who I think potentially are the worst team in the playoffs, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are in the playoffs. So again, Mike Tomlin football, you win big in the first half of the season, you kind of slump going into the playoffs, but you're good enough still to get a wild card. So again, model of consistency, Tomlin's always over 500, but now we are punished by having to watch this damn team in the playoffs every single year. I don't want to watch the Steelers. They're not entertaining. Shout out to Russ, he still has hope. Oh, we lost 4 in a row. We got to win the next 4 now. We're going to win the next 4. Mr. Unlimited. No, it's just like, I don't want to watch the Pittsburgh Steelers no more. It's like, let's get them out of here. Please. Let's get them out. And I think the Baltimore Ravens will do exactly that. Now, it looks like the Ravens will probably play the Bills in the next round, which is unfortunate for all of us who don't want to see the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl again. But, it means that one of the two have to play the Chiefs. I was kind of hoping that they'd have to play both, but obviously, the way everything turns out, not going to happen. So, we're taking the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Zay Flowers is not playing. Oh, that sucks. He's a Pro Bowl receiver for the Ravens. Don't know how he got in the Pro Bowl, but it's okay. Whatever. I thought they were more deserving guys. It is what it is. But it's fine. Zay Flowers is out. So, Rashad Bateman, Nelson Aguilar, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. That's going to be the receiving core for Lamar Jackson this week. Again, losing Zay Flowers is a pretty sizable loss, but the thing is, guys, the Steelers are just so bad. It's insane how bad they are right now. How you lose 4 in a row going into the playoffs? Oh, yeah, it's 4. I get it. They're playing good teams. Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals, but that was my point with the Texans, guys. They couldn't win against good teams going into the playoffs, so what's going to happen once you actually get in the playoffs? Same thing's going to be said about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think it's true. Again, what's going to change? They haven't been good down the stretch. There are a lot of, these are the two teams especially, and we'll talk about the Denver Broncos in a second, but this is why the AFC side of the bracket, at least to start, feels fairly easy to pick. I don't think the Steelers are a good football team. I just don't think they are. They went on their run in the middle of the season, but guys, now that, we can look back at it, who did they really beat? They beat the Raiders, they beat the Jets, they beat the Giants, they went on the road and beat Washington, that was good, and they beat the Ravens, all right, great. They beat the Bengals on the road, they beat the Browns, that was their little run. Again, 4 straight losses doesn't look good going into the playoffs. I get it, rivalry game, AFC North matchup, Ravens-Steelers, but guys, this just feels like another, Steelers get in the playoffs, they were good to start the year, like that year they started 11-0 and ended up losing to the Browns in the first round. I feel like it's going to be kind of like that, they just, they kind of get washed out. The Steelers can't score. They can't score points. Guys, look at their point totals the last 4 weeks. 13 on the road in Philadelphia. 17 on the road against the Ravens. 10 against the Chiefs. 17 against that horrible Bengals defense. If you were to tell me that the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 18 scored 19 points against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and guys, it's not like the Steelers weren't trying to win that game. The starters were playing the entire way. So if you tell me that the Bengals scored 19 points going into that football game, do the Steelers win? I'd say, well, I hope so, considering how bad the Bengals defense is. No! The Steelers lost. The Steelers are not good. They just aren't. How do they beat the Ravens? I don't know. What, Justin Fields needs to start? No, I don't think that's the solution. I don't think Russ has been playing great football, but I don't think, again, inserting Justin Fields back into the lineup is going to make too much of a difference. The Steelers are screwed. Really, they can't move the ball. They can't. George Pickens was dropping everything last week. I assume that's not going to be the same thing this week, but and Pittsburgh's got to go on the road. They're not going on the road to Baltimore and beating the Ravens. And guys, we have to say it about Lamar Jackson. It's this year or else. I mean, I'm not saying, oh, well, the Ravens are gonna get rid of him if they don't win this year. Obviously not. But it's just like, how many times is Lamar Jackson gonna get to the postseason with the team that is expected to win, and how many times is he not going to win? I mean, I feel like we've been down this path a million times with Baltimore. Here we go. They're back in the playoffs. They win the North. Now he has Derrick Henry. Are they gonna win? We'll see. I think they're in for one next week at Orchard Park. But, oh, whoops, if I gave that one away. I'll get to the Bills and the Broncos in a second. I just don't see the pathway to victory for the Pittsburgh Steelers here. I simply just don't see it. How do they beat Baltimore? They have no stop for Lamar Jackson. Again, Zay Flowers' injury does suck. But again, Derrick Henry's still on this team, and the Ravens defense has been playing pretty well. Again, for as bad as the Texans have been, 0 points against that Houston offense. What are the Steelers going to do? I'm serious. And it sucks because we have to watch Houston and Pittsburgh to kick off the postseason this year. Those teams aren't good. It's that simple. Give me Baltimore all day long. The Ravens will take care and easily manhandle Pittsburgh. So that being said, minus 9.5 should cash fairly easily. I expect this to be a blowout. It will be 14-0 at the end of the first quarter. Okay? 14-0 at the end of the first quarter, and it's not a competition. Okay? Baltimore gets it done fairly easily. Let's move on to our next game. We go to Orchard Park, New York. We've got the Buffalo Bills taking on the Denver Broncos. Guys, I see this going one of two ways. I'm serious, and call me crazy, but this is the one of two ways this game could go. The Buffalo Bills blow out the Denver Broncos, or the Denver Broncos win it outright. There's no two ways about this. Either Denver straight up wins, or Buffalo covers and dominates. That's the way I kind of see this going. Because I cannot imagine a world where the Broncos made this a competitive game and, they just sneak, the Bills just sneak out of it. No. I think if Denver wins, they're going to pull a miracle out their ass. I'm serious. I don't see this being competitive if they're going to lose. With that being said, I fully expect the Bills to blow this team out. Guys, rookie quarterback, a guy who has played at Auburn most of his career. Sure, he played in Eugene, Oregon, but guys, Eugene, Oregon is not the same. It's not even close to Orchard Park or Buffalo, New York, upstate New York. It's not even close. We're essentially playing this game in Canada, which, maybe gets annexed and comes to the United States. I'm joking. Am I? I don't know. Regardless, give me the Bills. Give me the Bills to blow this team out. Guys, Bo Nix on the road in the playoffs, rookie quarterback. Oh, in Buffalo of all places. I don't know what the weather's going to be in Buffalo, but let's look it up. Buffalo weather Sunday. 32 degrees. It will be freezing. Likely no snow, but it will be freezing. And you take a team that has not been in the playoffs. No one on this team has been in the playoffs. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, I'm sure there's someone on this team that's been in the playoffs before. Let's see. Legitimately, I don't know who on this team has been in the playoffs other than Jared Stidham with the Patriots. But he obviously did not play. Will Lutz with the Saints. Guys, I could be tripping, but seriously, are Jared Stidham and Will Lutz the only guys in this team that have been in the playoffs? I actually think so. I can't think of another player on this team that's been in the playoffs. So this is a team with absolutely zero playoff experience going on the road to Buffalo. If you were to say, all right, what is the worst case scenario for a team? First time this team's been in the postseason, 7 seed on the road. Where is the worst place they could play? No, it's not Arrowhead, it's Buffalo. Just because of the frigid conditions. This is going to be horrible for the Broncos. So this is what I'm saying. Either they just pull it out their ass and they somehow win, or they get blown out. They're getting blown out. They are absolutely getting blown out in this football game. It will not be close. All right? Buffalo dismantles them. This is Josh Allen's year, it feels like, to at least make the Super Bowl. Are they going to win it? The Detroit Lions are playing in the NFC. Again, I know Buffalo won the first game. Detroit was very injured. They should be fine down the stretch now. Hopefully Hutchinson's back for the Super Bowl. We'll see. Hey, they get David Montgomery back next week. And we'll get to the Lions and we'll get to the playoff matchups at the end of the video, at least for the NFC. We can say our AFC matchups in a second here. But I think this is Josh Allen's year. He's likely to win the MVP, even though, yes, Lamar's stats are better. It's going to go to Josh Allen, which, honestly, I have no problem with. I'm okay with that. The Bills just look like the better football team, obviously. That's, that goes without being said. Buffalo's been hot down the stretch. They have not lost since that Rams game. I'm not counting the Patriots game at the end of the year. Nobody played. That Lions win was huge, obviously. They beat up on the Jets a couple weeks ago. I really don't see anybody going to Buffalo and winning, and that does include the Baltimore Ravens next week. I'll be honest with you. I don't think anybody goes to Buffalo and wins. I think the toughest thing for the Bills this season will be going to Arrowhead and winning in the AFC Championship game, a place that Josh Allen has not won in the postseason before. That is going to be a big deal. Will he get it done? I don't know. But what I do know is that they're going to beat the crap out of the Denver Broncos. All right? Guys, this is not a competitive football game. The Bills are going to blow this team out. I like the Broncos. I like what they're doing. Bo Nix proved me wrong this year. I did not think Bo Nix was gonna be in the position there that he's out. Guys, I was calling for the first 6 weeks of the season Zach Wilson to start. Honestly, and I thought he should have. I still think Zach Wilson is the starting quarterback in the NFL, but that's neither here or there, okay? Denver's got a great defense. Bo Nix, again, has been very surprising this year. Bo Nix does everything Sean Payton wants him to do as a rookie quarterback in this league. And again, I commend Bo Nix for getting to the postseason in his rookie season. But ultimately, the road ends here. Give me the Buffalo Bills to dominate this football game. Again, for as good as the Broncos defense is, they are playing against the best quarterback right now in the NFL, and his name is Josh Allen. Josh Allen will win the football game for the Buffalo Bills, and they will advance to the second round of the AFC playoffs, where they will host the Baltimore Ravens. So our matchups are now the Buffalo Bills versus the Baltimore Ravens, and the Los Angeles Chargers go to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, let's move on to the NFC. We start things here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Green Bay Packers. Give me Philly. Jalen Hurts, he still needs clearance, I believe, from an independent doctor, I think was the last thing I saw about that. Guys, Jalen Hurts is going to play. A.J. Brown might not play. Ugh. And now I'm seeing Jordan Love is sore now. He's questionable. Jordan Love's going to play. Even though Malik Willis still's not lost as a Packer. Just saying. Okay, I did not know I thought A.J. Brown was fine. That sucks. I'd expect A.J. Brown to play. He missed practice, but Eagles still optimistic. Okay, A.J. Brown's going to play. It's a postseason game. They need A.J. Brown. They do. Now, Devontae Smith isn't bad, but no, A.J. Brown's a difference maker. Okay, Philly's going to win. All right, Saquon Barkley, we can't forget. There's a reason. He missed out on making history. Could have broke Eric Dickerson's record, but said, you know what, I'm just going to wait for the postseason. Okay, you better win some games in the playoffs. You better win the Super Bowl. Honestly, do I think they do that? Probably not. But you better win in the wild card round. If you took last week off when you could have made history for most rushing yards in a single season, you better win this week. Guys, I said this a couple weeks ago. And honestly, I'm just going to make it clear now. I said last week, after the Packers lost to the Vikings, I said, you know what? Guys, are the Packers just not that good? Like, honestly, they've only beat bad teams, and whenever they play a good team, they lose. So now I'm going to say the Packers just aren't good. They lost to the Bears. And I get it. Cairo Santos, game-winning field goal. I've never seen this celebration before. I kid you not. He hits the field goal, and he does this. I don't know what that is, but shout out to Cairo Santos. Viva la Brasilia. I think he's from Brazil, I hope. If he's not from Brazil, oh, God, it's not good. I think he's Brazilian. I hope. Anyways, I'm going to check right now because I'm going to feel bad if he's not Brazilian. I think he is. Please tell me you're Brazilian. Cairo Santos, please tell me you're from Brazil. We went to Tulane. Ah, crap. Is he actually American? Oh, no. He's from St. Augustine, Florida. Why did I think Cairo Santos is Brazilian? No, he's Brazilian. Okay, never mind. All right, you scared me. No, he's from Brazil. Why does ESPN say he's born in Florida? Wikipedia, he says he's from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Shame on you, ESPN. This is crap. Anyways, give me the Eagles. Guys, the Packers just aren't good. Jordan Love got hurt in that game. I know, the Bears game. But still, they lost to the Bears. Don't care. They were trying to win that game. They did not want to fall to the 7th seed. All right? They did not want to fall. Even though Washington ended up winning. But still, wait, no. Commanders come back and beat the Cowboys? All the games were meaningless last week, guys. That's why I honestly don't remember. Yeah, they did come back and win. I forgot. Marcus Mariota. Yeah. But still, the Commanders were trailing for a lot of that game. So, Green Bay was trying to win. Because Green Bay thought, okay, if we win, then we're the 6th seed. And we got to stay away from the Eagles. We got to go to Tampa instead. Which, I like Tampa a lot. But, I'd rather probably go to Tampa than play at Philadelphia. Like, conditions, well, not Green Bay's used to that, but still, whatever. I'd rather probably play Tampa right now. Even though Tampa's really good, and we're going to get to Tampa in a few moments here, but I'd rather play Tampa than Philly. So for the Packers, oh, yeah, you got to go to Tampa, or you got to go to Philly. They played week 1 in Brazil. Oh, so Viva la Brasilia again. And yeah, the Packers lost that game. Close game. Eagles got it done. But the Eagles are just the better football team right now. The Eagles will be able to run the ball up and down the field on the Green Bay Packers. They should. Jalen Hurts should have a decent day. Guys, one of Jalen Hurts' if not his best day passing this entire season was probably the win in Brazil against the Packers. Probably. They won that on a neutral site. Now it's a playoff game in Philadelphia. I wonder who's going to win. I wonder who's going to win this football game. I'm serious. It's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, again, they will run the ball up and down the field in the Packers. And again, I went from saying, maybe the Packers aren't good to, I actually don't think they're good at all. Just being honest. I don't think they're that good. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles to, again, completely run right through the Green Bay Packers. If you're losing to the Bears, you're losing to the Vikings, what's going to happen when you go to Philadelphia? Give me the Eagles to win this football game. A.J. Brown, we'll see if he plays, but I expect Philadelphia to pick this one up and move on to the second round. Another game at home, by the way, in Philadelphia next week. Okay, let's go on to Tampa, Florida, to Raymond James Stadium. We have got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Washington Commanders. Give me Tampa Bay. Yeah, guys, they've won in the playoffs before. This team knows how to win. Again, guys, it cannot be said enough how much Tom Brady changed this franchise forever. I'm not trying to glaze Tom like I do a lot, I'll be honest. But it has to be said how much Tom Brady has changed the Buccaneers forever. Guys, they are not the Succaneers no more. This team's a staple of the postseason. They made the playoffs every year since Brady's got here now. Obviously, Brady's not playing anymore, but the 2 years since Brady, they've been in the postseason, right? Brady was here for what? 4 years? Baker's been here for 2. They've made the playoffs now 6 years in a row. And I don't see it stopping anytime soon. I think they continue to win the NFC South every single year. As long as Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans are around, shout out to Mike Evans. Great moment, him getting those 1,000 yards. Absolutely exciting. I thought that was great. Honestly, I was so happy when that happened. I was pumped when Mike got those 1,000 yards. Hall of Famer, top 10 receiver of all time. Okay, that's just what he is. Tampa Bay, they know how to win in the playoffs. And, okay, Washington going on the road here, it's not the same effect that we're talking about with Denver. Oh, they got to go to Orchard Park and play. Obviously, you're going to Tampa Bay, Florida. It's probably going to be 60 degrees at the coldest. It's not going to be that bad. It's actually games at 8 p.m. And it won't be that bad in Tampa. Seriously, it won't. The Commanders, I like what they're doing this season. Again, the running joke now, I guess, is that Jaden Daniels doesn't do crap until the last 30 seconds of the game, which is fair. He's a clutch time player. But I just think Washington's outmatched in this game. Simply put, I just think they're outmatched. I think Tampa's the better football team. I just think they are. Tampa's defense has low-key gotten a lot better the last couple weeks. They are playing better defense. I think, again, the Cowboys loss was a wake-up call. And, yeah, they needed help from the Washington Commanders to beat the Falcons on Sunday Night Football a couple weeks ago, but they got that help, and now here you go. The Commanders are going to go to Tampa Bay. If they lost that game, they'd be right here sitting at... Actually, no, they'd still be going to the NFC South. They'd be playing the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. I think Washington, I think they're a good team, but I just think Tampa Bay's better. Guys, Baker Mayfield, again, watch the throws that Baker Mayfield was making last week and tell me this guy's not an elite quarterback in the NFL. I'm serious. Watch the throws he was making against New Orleans and tell me this guy's not elite. He is exactly that. He is elite. He's so good. And it's a shame the Cleveland Browns gave up on him because look where the Cleveland Browns are at now. And look where Baker Mayfield's at. I think Tampa Bay wins this one. I really think their offense is that good. Bucky Irving has been a great surprise this year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's everything that we kind of thought Rachaad White was going to be in this third season with Tampa Bay, but no, Bucky Irving is that guy, which is great. It was much needed for Tampa Bay in the run game this year. And yes, Rachaad White will still do his thing in the pass game, but no, it is primarily Bucky Irving. No, Chris Godwin still does hurt Tampa Bay, but Mike Evans, again, is that good in the receiving game. And Jalen McMillan, the rookie out of the University of Washington, is only continuing to develop as a very good receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I really like the Buccaneers in this spot. Again, don't get me wrong. I like Washington. I like Jaden Daniels, but I think eventually they're going to meet their match, and this is where it is. I think it was a great run in Jane Daniels' rookie season. I think it was. It was a run that, honestly, I don't think a lot of people expected to happen. Hell, week 1 of the season, I remember I was saying, oh, Tampa's going to cover easy against Washington. This is a lock. And they did. But I, at the time, didn't think, oh, Washington from there was only going to lose 4 games the rest of the season. Hell, Washington is 12-5. Tampa Bay's 10-7. I think Tampa Bay gets this one fairly easily, though. Again, we saw them in the wild card round last year against another NFC East team. Very different circumstances. The Eagles were coming into that game completely cold, but Tampa was an underdog last year against the Philadelphia Eagles, and what happened? They won that game fairly easily. Again, in Tampa Bay, this is now a culture in Tampa Bay, Florida, that is used to winning. They are used to being in these big-time spots. They have hosted a playoff game for the last 5 years in Tampa. Ever since crowds returned, they have hosted a playoff game in Tampa Bay. That's just what happens now. This is the winning culture that comes to Tampa, Florida. I think it continues this week. I think they beat up on the Washington Commanders. I like what Washington does. They are simply just outmatched. I expect a shootout, but I expect Baker Mayfield to come out on top in this game. Baker has been very good in the playoffs in his career. Let's just be honest. He's been very good in the playoffs. Yes, he's 2-2, but he's been able to win in the every time he's been in the wild card round, he's won, right? If I'm not mistaken. Cleveland against Pittsburgh. They obviously lost the Chiefs the week after. They got screwed in that game. It is what it is. That was the beginning of the Chiefs' voodoo magic. Targeting call that did not get called at the 1 yard line. And I won't forget that. And also, last year losing to the Lions in the divisional round, but obviously beating the Eagles in the wild card. I think Baker Mayfield stays undefeated in the wild card round. I think they beat the Washington Commanders, and Tampa covers the 3 points as well. Let's go on to Monday Night Football, the final game here of the postseason, or the wild card round. The Los Angeles Rams and the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, I'm taking the Rams. Okay, I have to say it. I hope this game's played in Los Angeles. I hope. Monday, I hope the Fires are contained by then, but honestly, at this point, aren't they still 0% contained? I just, the Lakers game got postponed today against the Charlotte Hornets. So, what's happening? I can check, what's going on in LA right now, but I don't think it's all that contained. So, I'm hoping this game is played in Los Angeles. If not, playoff football will return to Glendale, Arizona for the first time in over 10 years. The Arizona Cardinals will get the Rams will get a home game in Arizona. Just play it in San Francisco. Play it in Santa Clara. I'd go. Whatever. I get it. Because, well, honestly, no. Just play it in California. Play it in Santa Clara. I don't understand. Give me the Rams here. Give me the Rams in the spot. Guys, I think the lights are too bright. For Sam Darnold. They seemed like they were too bright last week. Sunday Night Football, #1 seed on the line. What happened? The Lions won. It was a crucial game the Vikings needed to win. They put everything that they had into winning that game. They put all their eggs in the same basket to try to beat the Detroit Lions to be the #1 seed and get a bye next week. And what happened? They lost, and now they got to go cross country on the road to take on the Los Angeles Rams. This is not going to end well. It is not going to end well against the Rams team who just got a bye. Essentially, they didn't play none of their guys last week. They did not care. The Rams said, you know what? It's either we're going to go be the 3 seed next week and play the Commanders at home if we play our guys in week 18, or we're going to rest our guys, possibly lose the Seahawks who had incentives to win that game, Geno Smith. And what are we going to do? We're going to lose that football game, and we don't care. We're going to take on the Vikings next week. We're still at home. And that's what they did. This team has not had a bye, essentially. These guys have been fighting and clawing their way back into the postseason hunt since week 5, since their bye week. They finally get that 1 week bye. I think that's going to play huge dividends for the Los Angeles Rams in this football game. A week off's huge. It is. And the Vikings just went, the final score wasn't all that competitive, but they just went life and death with the Lions in Detroit. Give me Los Angeles, man. Give me the Rams. Guys, Matthew Stafford, again, might not be the same guy he once was, but he still has 2 very elite receivers. And now, again, is Cooper Kupp all that great at this point of his career? I don't know. Puka Nacua is a top 5 receiver in the NFL, though, and I don't think that's all that debatable. Rams defense is all right. I think the Rams get this one done, though. They are at home. Regardless if this one is in Arizona or Los Angeles, Minnesota still has to come to the West Coast, or hell, if it's in Arizona, the Southwest, to play the Rams. I'd hope this one is in Los Angeles. If it's in Phoenix or it's in Glendale, it is what it is. But I do like Los Angeles to come out on the winning side of this one. I think, again, I know their offense has been super stagnant recently. I completely get that. But I really think the week off is going to be a huge factor in this game. And I don't know, the Lions kind of put the blueprint out to beat the Vikings. You blitz Sam Darnold and get in his face. That worked so well for Detroit. I have to imagine the Rams going to do the same exact thing. So we get the Rams as underdogs this week at home against the Vikings. It's not the same circumstance as the other 4-5 matchup last year between the Buccaneers and the Eagles, but you get the home team against a team with a better record. I don't know. The Vikings aren't ice cold like the Eagles were last year, but they are coming off a loss. I do like the Rams in this spot, man. Give me Los Angeles at home against the Minnesota Vikings. They will win. The playoff experience and the Super Bowl experience will come through against Sam Darnold, who's making his first ever postseason start. What happened the last time the Vikings were in the playoffs? They lost in the first round at home to the New York Football Giants and Daniel Jones. Give me the Rams. Los Angeles wins, and they'll obviously cover the 1 point as well. So in the NFC, next week, we will have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. And the NFL gets what they want. Los Angeles and Detroit, part 2 in the playoffs. Rematch of last year's game in the wild card round. They'll get it again in the divisional. Regardless, if it's the Rams or the Vikings, NFL, cha-ching! Sunday Night Football next week on NBC. That's money, whoever's going to Ford Field to play the Lions. Absolute cash. Folks, thank y'all for watching our wild card predictions here for the NFL here in 2025. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you did disagree with any of the picks. Folks, we'll be back next week for the divisional round. Thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.